Our first story is titled, Update. Am I the a-hole for walking out on a double date my friend set up with him, his girlfriend, and a girl I had already rejected before? Original story. I feel like I need to say this for this post not to be removed. This is not about a date, about relationships or something. I want a judgment on me walking out of there. Cast. Me, 25 male, Joe, 26 male, Jane, 24 female. To give you a little background to the situation, I met Jane through Joe's girlfriend at her birthday party last year. At first, Jane was fun to talk to, but not even an hour later, Jane was really into me and tried really badly to hit on me during the party, which pretty much ruined my time there as the feeling was not mutual in the slightest bit. Also, at that time, I was already with someone. So the first impression I got from Jane was that she was clingy, annoying, and just wouldn't stop bothering me. Unfortunately for me, she became part of my larger friend group because she is part of Joe's girlfriend's friend group. That is a mouthful. And because me and Joe hang out a lot and I am also friends with his girlfriend, I pretty much run into her at minimum twice a month. So first time Jane asked me out was a month after that party. I informed her I was with someone and not interested. She tried again 2 months later when I broke up with my then girlfriend. Again, I declined her advances and told her I was not interested. I got into a new relationship not long after, but unfortunately, she and I broke up about 2 months ago. Since then, as you might have anticipated, Jane has asked me out again. I said no again. Well, that brings us to this week. Everything has been opening up here and Joe had been trying to fix me up with a friend of his girlfriend and would not tell me who. He is well aware of me having rejected Jane multiple times and the fact I'm not interested in her. He knows this in detail. After a lot of what he calls convincing and I call whining, I had no interest in dating anytime soon. I relented and decided to agree to this double date idea of his. We agree on meeting at Joe's apartment, and lo and behold, Joe, his girlfriend, and Jane are occupying the dinner table, obviously intending for my date to be Jane. I honestly just got so goddamn angry that I couldn't even get a single word out, turned around and left. I have been bombarded with texts and calls about how much of a douche I am, and how terribly I hurt Jane and so on, and I am just like, I literally rejected her like 3 times. I am not interested in her. You knew that. Your girlfriend knew that. Our entire friend group has a running joke about obsessive Jane for F's sake, so literally everyone knows it. So am I the a-hole? Before we read the update, let's read the top comments first and more info from OP. Not the a-hole, but your friend obviously is. Setting someone up with someone who rejected that person is cruel, not the fact that you turned around. I would honestly done the same. Jane is just as much an a-hole as the rest. She knew what was up. I feel pretty crappy about it though, regardless of my opinion in Jane, that must have stung. Not the a-hole. You've made your feelings more than clear to Jane and your friend as well. You had every right to leave, as you had already rejected her 3 times and still, she set herself up for rejection number 4. You're not responsible for her hurt feelings at this point. Your friend should have known better than to blindside you with a date with someone he knows full well you have 0 interest in. Though if I might venture a guess, I'd say that the double date was 100% Jane's and your friend's girlfriend's idea, and your friend most likely just got pressured into convincing you to come. Even so, he is one of my best friends. He shouldn't be screwing me over like that. Even if it was 100% their idea, I still blame Joe most. Yeah, I'd reevaluate how good a friend Joe is. I'm guessing the feeling you're feeling is betrayal. Your friends think you're overreacting because they don't realize that's how bad it is. Source: something similar, but not as bad, happened to me. As stupid as it sounds, it feels like he broke like a bro code. He knows how weird this girl is. And now for the update. It has been a little under 2 months, and I have received quite a few requests to make an update over the past 9 or so weeks. Looking at you, Snoo Chipmunks 3950, at first I was going to make one a week or 3 ago, but I decided against it and instead chose to wait till I had some proper updates. But well, here goes. It turns out that some of the more pessimistic of you were right. Jane was being obsessive and stalkerish, and it sort of all came tumbling down on her at that point. A week or so after I made my post, she decided to message me. Well, it came down to her not understanding why I was showing interest in her and then refused to date her. I never showed interest in her beyond basic friendliness. A wall of text dedicated to thrashing my previous relationships and calling them all sorts of names, specifically pointing out how I dated the wrong girls, and a weird rant about how everyone agreed me and her were meant to be, which just isn't the case. Like I said in my previous post, there is a running joke in our friend group about how weird she is. Now you might think this is something that can be expected, something that just happens, an outlet of her of sorts, except she sent it from the wrong account. See, I had become internet friends with a person in the past month or two. Me and her would game together, chat from time to time, you know, the usual organic internet friend situation. And the messages concerning out date were sent from this account. Turns out she had literally used this alias to infiltrate my internet friend group and keep tabs on me of sorts. Obviously, this freaked me the F out. I took screenshots of what she had sent me, and afterwards blocked all accounts that I knew now she was using. I followed that up by sharing everything in our friend Discord and in our friend WhatsApp group, so everyone could see, which resulted in her being kicked from both. And I later got a call from Joe full-on apologetic, telling me he had no idea and he knew he shouldn't have done it, but that his girlfriend was being pressured by Jane. Turned out, Jane had literally been witching at her for months to arrange something like this, and she finally caved. Again, creepy stuff. I told him that I needed some time as he really screwed me over big time and I didn't trust him anymore as a result. While Jane has been shunned by all friends, she still contacted me twice. Once to apologize, which quickly turned into weird crap where she started talking about us. She seems convinced there is an us and I am interested. And another time just to curse at me, both from random accounts. I am not sure where to go from here and I am still pretty shook up. And now for the top comments. Whoa, she's definitely a wacko, dude. Definitely dodged a massive bullet. Keep all the screenshots and if required, file a restraining order if it escalates. I am keeping all stuff she sends just to be sure. Make sure you made everyone you know aware of her stalking you. She could spread false allegations against you cause she definitely sounds like an absolute psycho. All mutual friends and some other people know. Get a restraining order, my guy. I would, but that ain't like a 5-second thing. Oh god, you have a real-life stalker. No fun or sarcasm intended. Make sure your home and technology are seriously locked down. People have too much time in their hands. Not sure what I can do from here besides saving the weird stuff she does and being vigilant. I think you should keep the police up to date. They aren't going to be able to immediately help you, but having it on file is important if things get wild. Documentation is vital in your ability to keep yourself safe. Thinking logically, if she were to show up at your house with a knife one night, the police would have a better understanding on how dire the situation is if they're familiar with it. And they can tell you all your options and possible charges or restraining orders you can get. Just my 2 cents for you. Please stay safe, she sounds crazy. I guess I could go to the cops and tell them about it and ask for advice. At least they would know, so if I get knife murdered, there is a paper trail. And that's our first story. The next one is titled, Am I the a-hole for moving out mid-lease and stranding my roommate with full rent after his girlfriend keeps accusing me of being creepy? So, I've been living with my current roommate for 2 years now. I'm actually subletting and I'm on my 2nd year, which is month to month. But we've had an unofficial, verbal agreement that I'd stay until the end of the year. I mean, it's a pandemic. I didn't think I'd move either. Anyways, his girlfriend moved in beginning of this year. It's been a lot. She's obviously had some trauma in the past. I didn't dig, but I believe she was the victim of a home robbery a few years back. Well, when she first moved in, my roommate had some ground rules for me, so his girlfriend would be more comfortable. She obviously wasn't thrilled about having another roommate. He said I couldn't talk to her, like strike up a convo, if he wasn't there, because she doesn't want to have to talk to me if she didn't have to. He also said it would be best if we tried to not use the same facilities at the same time, like if she's cooking in the kitchen, I should wait until she leaves before I grab food, etc. Like yes, it's strange, but I figured it's his place, so whatever. I'm not trying to befriend her either. Things got worse in recent months because we've all been working from home. It's really hard to avoid someone 24/7, so obviously I've slipped up more. One time, I came home from Costco and offered her a spare bottle of coconut water I couldn't fit in the fridge. Big mistake. My roommate had to have a talk with me that night about how I should know she would never drink my drinks, and it's weird for me to even offer. The most recent one was when she was watching some Game of Thrones in our living room. I just absent-mindedly watched a bit standing behind a couch. I laughed at a scene which startled her when she looked up and saw me standing behind her. I got another earful from my roommate about how I needed to stop creeping on her now that I'm home all the time. Long story short, my friend just had a place open up that's cheap and I'm gonna move. I told my roommate and he's pissed because of our unofficial agreement and how he's probably gonna pay full rent for a while. I feel bad because, yeah, I did say I wasn't gonna move. But I'm also pretty sick of both him and his girlfriend. However, I feel kind of guilty because I agreed to their weird rules before all this started back when I thought I'd be okay. Now let's read the top comments. Not the a-hole. That's an insane way to have to live. Get out ASAP. Not to mention, his roommate won't need to pay full rent. He moved his girlfriend in. You know, unless the girlfriend was moved in rent-free and the only other person paying to be there, OP, was suddenly given a bunch of rules to follow so that the mooch, girlfriend, would feel more comfortable in the room that she wasn't paying for. That is sure what it sounds like, which is just the cherry on top of this crap sandwich. This roommate took complete and total advantage of Opie, who sounds very good-natured and a bit naive. Not the a-hole. If you leave, there are still 2 people in the flat. Why is the girlfriend not paying rent? Besides that, these were ridiculous rules. If she can't get over her past trauma, it's not your responsibility to cope with her to the point you can't offer coconut water. Must be hard for her, but she is the a-hole. No, the roommate is the a-hole. He should have known better than to ask anyone, but especially not a paying tenant, to put up with this insanity. Honestly, I really can't understand how Opie's first response to the list of rules wasn't simply, "Nope, I'm not going to live like that." Honestly, in hindsight, I should have left as soon as she moved in. At the time though, I didn't think it was a huge deal. It's a big place, and I wasn't trying to be buddies with them either. But it just got weirder and more degrading. My roommate was pretty chill most of the time, but his girlfriend would almost always make a U-turn whenever she saw me and him in the same space. And if she walked into a room and I was already there, she'd make a face and leave without saying anything. My breaking point was Def being told I was creeping when I couldn't care less what they did. I wonder if your roommate told his girlfriend that you wouldn't be leaving there much longer. Like, that's the only way this makes any sense. Oh, there was 100% some behind-the-scenes drama over me. I suspect my roommate promised his girlfriend I was moving out, then changed his mind because of rent or whatever. They fought a lot in the first few weeks, and I could tell she was pissed at him. Then again, she never paid any rent, so I don't know. She didn't seem like someone who wanted a third person living there. But conversely, my roommate also really wanted me there. So lots of tension. I definitely stayed longer than necessary, but rent was particularly cheap there, and location was great. And that's the end of our video, folks. As always, comment, like, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe.